Welcome back. A special Indian Air Force aircraft carrying mortal remains of 45 Indians who were killed in a tragic fire incident in Kuwait is expected to land in Kochi shortly. In a statement, the embassy informed that a special Indian Air Force flight organized by the Indian government to ensure immediate repatriation of the deceased remains from a labour housing facility in the Mangaf area of Kuwait is currently en route to Kochi. It is pertinent to note that the embassy statement also provided the official death count following the tragic incident. Out of the 176 Indian workers in the housing facility, 45 Indian nationals were killed, while 33 others were reportedly injured and have been admitted to various hospitals in Kuwait. It added the casualties included 23 from Kerala, 7 from Tamil Nadu, 3 from Andhra Pradesh, 3 from Uttar Pradesh, 2 from Karnataka, while Bihar, Punjab, Karnataka, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Jharkhand and Haryana each reported 1 casualty, is what we are learning at this point in time. All right, joining us to talk more about this at this point in time is Ambassador J.K. Tripathi, former diplomat. Joyita Basu, editor of the Sunday Guardian, will also join us on the program to talk more about this. Ambassador Tripathi, we'll begin with you, sir. Good morning. And obviously, this is tragic, but it also, hints towards a gaping hole, and that gaping hole has always been the conditions in which some of these immigrant workers live in some of these Middle Eastern countries. How would you in fact describe what has happened here, and what kind of a recourse can be expected after this mammoth tragedy on the conditions of Indian laborers working abroad?
Good morning to you and to all your viewers. In fact, this is very tragic happening, and I would my sympathy goes to the family members of those who died in this accident, and also the family members of those who have been injured and they are being treated in hospital. In fact, problem you see here in this area, in this segment, is that many of the employers in many of the 6 GCC countries, they do not follow the norms or the rules of their own country. They do not provide adequate, healthy, and hygienic and safe accommodation to their workers. Not only accommodation, but they do not provide even the good type of facility. Even the food. My own experience in Oman has been that food was contaminated at times with live insects. Would you believe people living in one room, 10, 30 workers living in one room and using the facilities in shifts of 8 hours each. So this is why while some of the workers, some of the countries like UAE, like Oman, and partially like Saudi Arabia have improved the facility facility to the workers, but rest of the country, that is C4 countries, they still lack basic amenities for their workers. And the worst part of it is when a worker joins at the airport, his passport is taken by the agent or representative of the employer in name of safe custody, and then he is not given any I card, and he becomes stateless, he becomes identityless there. And they are subjected to all sorts of tortures, non-payments or partial payments is in place of whatever has been agreed to. So these things during the last 20 years, I am sure that, and I know that Indian government has been taking these matters with concern to the respective Gulf countries, and a lot has been traveled, path has been traveled as now, but still more is needed to be done. What is needed to be done basically is that we should hammer upon the employers that they must take care of, they must abide by the term, strictly by the terms of the contract they enter into with the employees. Secondly, we should also engage constructively the officials, concerned officials of the local governments to prevent such type of mishaps or such type of accidents. And for this, periodic checking of uh, periodic and frequent checking of the accommodation, checking of the food, checking of the living conditions, checking of the amenities or salaries that they receive, and also their physical well-being is needed. And for that, I understand the Indian government has got a system under which every employer is supposed to bring the employee at the embassy or the consulate once a year. But I don't think this is sufficient. This should be made more frequent, maybe once in a quarter, so that the employee can tell the woes and the problem that he or she is suffering from the hands of the foreign employers. Yes.
Joyita Basu also joins us. Joyita, what do you think is going on over here? And what about the safety and conditions in which these immigrants from India live in? Do you think that they have been very carefully been ignored by these administrations in the Gulf countries? Because this is not the first case where reportedly an Indian immigrant has met a similar fate.
Oh, well, when you're looking at what's happening with the Indian immigrants, migrant workers in the Gulf, look at what happened in Qatar between 2011 and 2022 May, when, from the time Qatar was awarded the World Cup football and when it was finally the stadiums were completed, over 3,300 Indian laborers, blue-collar workers died. And most of these deaths were passed off as natural deaths in terms of heart failure and exhaustion, when the fact is that many of them fell from great heights. They were not provided security, safety gear, proper safety gear. So as a result of which, whole lot of other things, and the exhaustion, they were cramped into a coop-like, labor camp-like situation, condition. So all these contributed to these deaths. Now, what happens in the Gulf is that there is this system called the kafala, which is basically sponsor. So what this sponsorship system. Now, there are these sponsors who are known as kafils. Now, what they do, these are the people who get these laborers from India, from Bangladesh, Pakistan, Philippines. These are the places. Now, they sponsor their flight to the Gulf. They sponsor their stay. And after that, this ill treatment starts. Now, what happens is that in most of these countries, this kafala system comes under their interior ministry and not under their labor ministry. As a result of which, what happens, their labor laws, that individual countries' labor laws do not apply to these migrants. Apart from that, as the previous speaker also spoke of, the status of their visa, how long they can stay, for how long they can work, everything is decided by the sponsor. Passports are taken away, as a result of which, you see, all sorts of abuses are kind of heaped on them, and they do not have any legal recourse because they do not come under any labor union, they do not come under any labor law. As a result of which, it's almost like bonded labor. It's slavery. What they do is it's just slavery. So from whatever I have heard or read, the Ministry of External Affairs has opened lots of channels. And in fact, I was just reading up yesterday, I think in less than 3 years, up to December 2023, they have received around over 33,000 complaints. Now, these complaints have been primarily about wage denial. Wages have been delayed, not given, poor living conditions, bad behavior, basically slave labor-like slave labor-like conditions. Now, the MEA has been taking this up with the governments, with the ministries, but in this Kuwait case also we see what is happening is that the government is brushing its hands off all this incident. And this is the problem. I think in 2015, when Mr. Modi had gone to Abu Dhabi, yes, he was in Abu Dhabi at that time, he had picked up this issue with the government over there. In 2016, he had picked up this issue in Doha with the Qatar rulers. And they had said at that time that, yes, we are going to improve the situation. Mr. Modi also had met a lot of these laborers in, I think, in UAE, Abu Dhabi and UAE. He had met a whole lot of these people. But the thing is, you see, in spite of all that, this continues, this ill treatment continues. So listen, when we come to India, now India is a major power now. All right, when it comes to the GDP of India, I'm certain it is much more than the Gulf GCC. India has a military power. India is a diplomatic power. It's a global power. It's an Indo-Pacific power. Why don't we exercise our power and, okay, do it in the velvet glove, but show your iron hand. And just tell these people, tell these rulers that we want to have good relations with you. But given that there's this huge number of people who are there in your country, it is time you amended your laws, you gave them proper, you gave them their due as human beings and do not treat them as cattle and slaves.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.